Hi everyone, we are back with Your Perspective Season 2 with a new era, new topics, and new guests. I want to thank you so much for the successful viewership and subscribers on Season 1. Therefore, let's get into Season 2. 1, 2, 3. Hi everyone, it's your amazing host Darius, and we are back with Your Perspective. Please like, leave comments, and please do not forget to click that subscribe button. Today we have the considerate and marvelous Lafaun Johnson joining us today. Thank you for doing the show for me. It means a lot. And do you mind giving a brief
Yes,
introduction
hi
about yourself?
Darius.
Hey,
I'm sorry,
you're
yeah.
fine.
Just a little perspective on myself. My name is Lafaun. I met Darius through work. It was a good
Yes.
time. I am at a cosplay convention currently. It's from Chili's Comic Con up here in Minnesota. I do a lot of conventions, art outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
Just a big nerd, honestly.
No, I like it. You look so cute.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So today's topic we're going to be discussing is is it possible to truly forgive and forget? And I think this topic is going to have
Mm,
many viewers split on the possibility if it's truly possible to forgive and forget. However, before we start our conversation, I do want to say that there's a problem with the term forgive and forget. I see that because in my opinion,
mhm,
some people believe we must forgive the person and pretend the problem never occurred, which is like a major red flag that people may have.
mm.
So let's get to our first question today. Do you believe a person truly forgives
Yeah.
and moves on?
So in regards to forgetting or moving on, I think it really, it depends on the situation, but I think people truly can,
Mm-hmm.
because forgiving isn't necessarily about the other person all the time. Sometimes you need
Right.
to just forgive to get yourself to move on. You need to
Mm-hmm.
forgive to allow yourself peace. You need to forgive
Right.
just for things that are going to help you better yourself and help you feel better about whatever the situation is. People seem to think forgiveness is like always just taking in what the other person has to
Mm-hmm.
say and things being better from there on, but it really is a lot more about self than
Yes.
the other person, I would say. And so
So
I
I agree.
think it's absolutely possible, and I think a lot of people do, and again for selfish reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but that's totally fine.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like when someone does forgive someone, they have to truly forgive. Like they can't hold on to a grudge. And every time someone messes up, you
Hmm.
set goes backwards and well, you did this back in 2010. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna hold it against you. So if you forgive someone, you have to actually truly forgive that person, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
absolutely. Because if you're not truly forgiving, you hold on to that feeling, you hold
yeah,
on to that anger. And so it's really easy for something else to get brought up and you get brought back into that moment that had you upset in the first place if you didn't truly forgive. And
exactly.
so I think people are truly capable of that. But it really just depends on the
The
level
person.
of
Yeah, the person.
forgiveness we're trying to give here.
The second question I have is, do you think forgiving someone fixes the problem or just enhances the problem more?
I don't think I don't think forgiving really fixes anything. I think it wouldn't enhance too much either. But in regards to it not fixing anything, it's not about fixing the issue. The issue should have already been worked on and fixed maybe
Mm-hmm.
before you decide to forgive,
Right.
rather than fixing being the band aid. You should already have a band aid there,
Mm-hmm.
and fixing is just checking on that band aid or assuring that band aid is, secure, if anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so if you are forgiving, it shouldn't be coming from a place of "I'm just forgiving you so we can get past this." It should truly
Exactly.
be forgiving to solidify that, this we have this understanding and we're going to be able to move forward from here rather than just put this band-aid on it. I forgive you and do what's next, because then that goes back to our previous question of you don't truly move
Mm-hmm.
on if you're
Right.
just
Right.
using it as a
As
band-aid
a
to try to
crutch.
fix
Mm-hmm.
something.
Because there's a term that's
Yeah, exactly.
it's yeah, it's called I want to say it's called toxic forgiveness when someone does forgive someone but doesn't really
Mm,
forgive. So they're rushing to
okay,
forgive
yeah.
someone, yeah, without even addressing the hurt or what they would really experience from that person. So it's going to cause more turmoil in in the future, rather than you just you know what, this
Hmm.
is what hurt me and I forgive you for it. Just don't let it happen again.
Right. Toxic forgiveness. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to remember that because
Yeah,
I've absolutely seen my fair share of that, and it's not beneficial to anyone involved. It's
exactly.
again just throwing a band-aid on something that hasn't been healed.
Right, because the world would be a better
Person
place if people would
in the
just be
front.
more honest with their feelings. I feel like and upfront. about like that's a life saving phase.
Absolutely. I don't know why everyone's scared of that, but I totally agree with you.
Right. And my final question of the day is, what steps do you think it takes to fully forgive someone?
What steps? I think it can look different for everyone, but I would say,
Mhm.
like, personally, my steps is really like getting an understanding of the situation. Like, was this something that this person did to just blatantly disrespect me, or maybe was it a mistake?
Right.
Maybe we need to talk about this and talk out what happened so I can get a better understanding of where you're coming from and
Hmm.
you can get a better understanding of where I'm coming from and why it hurt me or why we may be in this position where I need to forgive. I think communication is like a huge part of
It is.
forgiveness and getting to a point to give forgiveness.
It surely is.
Another step I would say would be looking inside of yourself and seeing, like, is this something that I'm truly willing to forgive? Like some
Hmm.
people, again, will put that band-aid on and say it's okay, but it's truly not. And that is okay.
Right.
And that's where you got to be honest. Be like, hey, I don't forgive you, or like, I got to this step and I don't think I can get past this
Hmm.
issue and I can't offer you forgiveness. And if you can, that's awesome. That's great. That's perfect. That's
Right.
really usually the goal there, in that communication. But, forgiveness doesn't always have to happen even after following whatever your steps are. But I think everyone should have some type of checks and balances they do before they just decide to forgive
Forgive
someone, so they can
someone.
know if they're truly forgiving
Right.
or putting that band-aid on.
I agree. And I would say time heals all wounds. And I'll also say if you were like someone who hurt someone,
Hmm.
don't quickly expect that person to like just get over it. Cause like, I had to learn that from my husband. Like I'll be like,
Oh.
well, I said sorry, so like get over it. But like
Hmm.
it's not realistic. So I have to like give him time to,
Right.
like recuperate and, like it is like just say, I apologize. I do mean it. Just take your time, wait for me to like deal with your emotions. Cause I was humble that
Absolutely.
way.
Time is definitely a big part of it, because you really can't rush someone else's process for forgiving. Like you could be
Yeah.
ready to be like, hey, I'm sorry and I
Right.
want to make amends, but they
Like
have
what's
to go
next?
through whatever their steps are. Right. But they have to go through whatever their steps are. And those steps may take longer than your steps.
Mm-hmm.
And being okay with that is definitely like it's a tricky
Situ-
check and balance between the two people. And that's why that communication is so important for someone to even be like, hey, maybe I'm not ready to forgive right
Could be
now, but give me
right.
some time to like think of this and go through my steps and just sit with how I'm feeling and make sure it's not something that I like. Because people look past red flags all the
All the
fucking
time.
time. And
Yes,
I
all the
really
time.
think that if they sat on some things, they would realize, okay, wait, I'm not okay with this. I'm
Right.
not cool with this. But they're so quick to put that band-aid on and
Mm-hmm.
move past it because the other person has or whatever the
Right.
case be. And it's like you really need to make sure that you're taking the time with yourself, like not in that person's face that hurt you, and going again through your steps to make sure, am I okay with this? Is this
Mm-hmm.
something I can get past? Because, and not trying to rush that process either, because
Exactly.
it's different for everyone, like I said earlier. And, a different time period may give you a different answer. If you feel like you're rushed, you might be in a rush and be
That's
like,
what.
okay, you know what, whatever. I just don't want to talk
Yeah.
about this anymore. I forgive you.
And that's
And
more
then, you
damage
know what, if something
done.
comes up and you're like, wait a minute,
Right.
I don't forget that.
Right.
So, take as much time as you need. Understanding other people's time, like you said, you had to do with your husband is really important.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know it takes me a minute to forgive when I am in the position of being hurt, but when I realize I've hurt someone, I definitely want to be like,
Yeah.
hey, can we
You're
get
right.
over this?
Get
I'm
over it.
so sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
apologize. What more do you
That's how I
want?
am.
I'm just kidding. Right. And it's different for everyone. And it's good you guys have that communication. I'm working on that communication myself
Me and you
here,
both.
Right.
Both.
It's a work in progress. All we can do
Right.
is try.
Before we end today's episode, do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Yeah, I would say, it looks different. Forgiveness looks different for everyone. You can forgive
Mm-hmm.
and, things can go back to being normal and hunky dory and everyday
Right.
life. And, you can also forgive and decide to separate yourself and
Mm-hmm.
move on to different aspects or move on alone in your future from whatever you're forgiving from. And that's okay.
Right.
However it looks for you is really like, your truth. And that goes
Mm-hmm.
back to everyone being honest about their feelings. And I really think it's something that a lot of people should consider doing and taking that time
Mm-hmm.
to really do
I
rather
agree.
than rushing into, what did you say it was called earlier? Toxic forgiving to,
Yeah, toxic forgiving.
okay. Yeah. I don't think people should be like in a rush to toxic forgive or get
Yeah.
someone to toxic forgive them. Um, yeah, everyone is different. It could take a day or two. It could take some hours. It could take
Mm-hmm.
years. I know some
Yeah.
people done pissed me off, and I held on to that shit for years. And then one day I was like, you know
I
what?
have to feel like I'm
It
over
is
it.
what it is.
You're right.
Yeah, no, literally, like, all of a sudden, I didn't know when it was happening. I didn't know it was gonna happen, but here we are. If I see you out and about, I won't be so mad. I won't be. I won't still be hurt. Really, what it is. Um,
Well, that concludes today's episode. And again, thank you so much for pairing the show for me. It means a lot.
yes, no problem. Anytime, any other topics you want to chat about. This was really good food for thought. I was asking everybody, like, how do you feel about forgiveness? What do you
Forgiveness.
think? And just trying to like just be able to fluff up my answers and kind of get different opinions. So I'm not just sitting here
Hmm.
being like, well, you need to forgive.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is the way. The rapture is coming. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Right.
kidding. Just
But thanks again. And for those watching, please don't forget to
no
like,
problem.
comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. That was cute.